everybody, what's up? It's me, Batu, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pokemon Plush Living Decks. If you guys do not know, I am trying to get a single Pokemon plush of every single Pokemon that has been created, past, present, and sadly the future, because these Pokemon are coming in faster and faster every day, it feels like. And today I get to add 4 brand new additions to that because I went ahead again and tried to find the cheapest Pokemon plushies that I could find still in stock. And there's some from the Sword and Shield era that has not been grabbed and been sold out yet. So I thought we would grab them and show them off. And the awesome part about this is they are all Pokédoll plushies as well. So we kind of have a unique whole gimmick going on that I get to show off. Without further ado, I do want to show off the first 2 of these guys, which if you played the Sword and Shield DLC, you would know as Spectrier and Glastier. Starting off with Spectrier, this Pokemon has such an amazing coloration. This was the one that I picked. I will be so honest, guys. I do love the coloration. While I do prefer Glastier's whole gimmick look to it with the whole icy and everything like that, I do think the coloration of this guy was definitely awesome. I wish Glastier would have had a shiny that looked like this. If it looked like the reverse colors of this Pokemon, this would have been so better. But Spectrier is the one that I got. A very cheap looking tag. They are making these tags cheaper and cheaper now, because this looks like a lot worse of material, whatever it is. But you can see Spectrier right here. Like I said, these are the Pokédolls, so they are going to be a lot more chibi looking. You can tell that by such a big chunky foot that he has. I believe Spectrier in the game actually has some smaller feet, so the fact that these guys got some big chonkers on them, such a different change of pace for him. I'm also noticing just how skinny some of the material on here is for his little hairpiece or mane or whatever you want to call it. They have a little bit of printed fabric, but honestly, not a whole lot for this Pokemon. I would have imagined there'd be more. However, there's not. There's only that, and I don't know. This might be printed fabric that's just on purple. I can't really tell. It feels like printed fabric, but it does not really look like any. And then we actually have the indentions from the whole sewing in there as well. So I don't know. I just think it's just the ears, honestly, is probably the only part that's been actually printed on fabric, which, I mean, I'm okay with. I'm okay. Sometimes printed on fabric works, sometimes it does not. It just kind of depends, honestly. But I do think that this is such a beautiful coloration for the Pokemon. The Pokemon itself is hit or miss, but I do really like the black and purple they chose for this. And of course, that kind of like light violet, it's like a mix between white and violet they have for the headpiece and the tailpiece. Also a really beautiful color. I do love it a lot. Honestly, I'm really happy because I've been wanting to get these Pokédolls for a little while. These 2, not as much as the other 2 that I'll be showing off in a few, but this guy does definitely work for me. I don't think they really have any Spectrier plushies besides this one either. They might have one that they created that's like the kind of like the actual sizing and proportions of them. However, I think this one works for $11.99. Definitely worth the price. I'm trying to get more types of different plushies for it, so having a Sword and Shield era Pokédoll added to my collection is definitely cool with me. Next up, my favorite of the 2, we do have Glastrier right here, and this is the one that actually has a bit more printed fabric on it. The whole horn piece, the mane, the little ear, the whole crystallization, everything on there seems to all be printed on fabric. Then you get to see some more details actually on the face, the hooves, the felt on here, but even the felt has printed on fabric too, so a lot more than Spectrier for sure. However, Glastier does still look great. I do love a pure white coloration Pokemon plushie because you never really see too many of them too often, so I will definitely take this. I've been wanting to get that Mega Shiny Gengar plushie for so long. When it came out, I didn't have the money to get it, so I didn't end up grabbing it. I regret that now. But I do think that this is such a beautiful plushie. Again, it is very chibi, so you can see he does have some big hooves. However, I think last year is definitely a top tier Pokédoll for the most part when it comes to Sword and Shield era. They were making a bunch of Pokédolls during Sword and Shield era, which is honestly the best place for me to actually get Pokemon plushies during that time, because that's when I was getting Obstagoon, Toxtricity, a bunch of other Pokédolls, Dracovish, stuff like that, and they were all really affordable. It wasn't until like the Scarlet and Violet era where everything started to kind of get a little crazy, or honestly pretty much Legends ZA era is where things got really insane for pricing, but this is still whenever they were affordable, so I will definitely take Glastrier. Next up, in that same DLC, you might have encountered some Regis on your travels. Of course, Regice, Registeel, and Regirock. However, there was 2 brand new additions to that collection before you were able to get Regigigas. And the first one of that is honestly probably the most popular one out of the 2. I was able to get this Regidrago. This Regidrago is so good. Honestly, the 2 Regis in the Pokédoll form works out pretty well because the proportions are pretty similar. With the Regidrago, he was indeed just a big old ball with a dragon's head and a dragon's jaw on there. And I think they kind of did it perfectly. For Pokemon plushies, I feel like they definitely fit the Pokédoll standard that's needed, and it looks great in my opinion. Of course, you don't even really have chibi eyes or anything because their eyes are literally just dots. And then, of course, the printed on fabric did most of the work for the dragon head of getting all the details on there. There wasn't too many details already to begin with, so I think that it works out pretty well. The jaw being simple, the felt teeth also look really well, although some of them are kind of poking out from the packaging that I received it in. That's the lame part. I am sad about that, but you know what? We make it work. But all in all, for a simple Pokemon like this, I think it definitely fits the Pokédoll standards. We have some more felt on the back, and then some more felt on his little feet. He is in a sitting position, so he will probably look very similar whenever they make a sitting cutie out of him, which, goodness, that is coming next, right? Galar Pokemon are getting their sitting cuties, so that's going to be awesome to see. But I think he works really well as a plushie, and I'm happy to have one of the Regis in my collection. We just need, what, a few more? But luckily, there's another one to add. Being number 2 out of the 6 that I need, I also was able to get Regieleki. It's so strange how for both of these pairs, they all were in stock still. It seems like however they were doing it, I guess just they were not popular at all, which I kind of just saying there wasn't a lot of the fan base that got the DLCs, definitely less than actually who got Sword and Shield, even though there was definitely a good amount of people that never even finished the game, so that probably added to it. But we do have ourselves a Regieleki right here, and honestly, out of the 2, he definitely looks the best to me. First off, I love that pink that he has right there. That's really good. Honestly, that works perfectly with the blue and yellow in my opinion. We have the yellow that kind of looks more like a toxic greenish yellow in my opinion. That's at least how I'm seeing it in my lighting. It might be a little bit different. And then we have the blue on there as well. It definitely screams quick ball. I can't even remember what Pokemon ball that I caught it in the beginning, but you know what? I'm going to say I probably caught it in quick ball because I love me some coloration whenever I can figure out the colors for him. But I think he looks really well. There is no printed on fabric on him, surprisingly. We have, of course, some felt pieces that kind of show the shooting lightning that shoots out of his arm pieces. His little shoulder pads are made out of felt right here. And then we have some actual material this time going on his waist. And then, of course, a little bit of felt at the very tip for his tail, feet, whatever you want to call that. And then this is the part that I really like. They did a whole bunch of stuff right here for his hand pieces. I think that works really well. I don't know why, but each time I see this plushie and I've been grabbing it, I have been just kind of reaching and kind of like pushing and pulling right here because it just feels so nice to kind of push on it because it's pretty stuffed up to the brim, honestly. There is a whole bunch of stuffing in this little guy. And I don't know, I just really like the Sword and Shield era of the Pokédolls. They were smaller than the ones that we currently see, but I think they work out really well for Pokédolls. A lot of the plushies that they actually made do. And there's a whole bunch that are still in stock right now that I definitely say you guys should probably go check out because they all look really good. But I am just happy with these guys. Honestly, for $11.99, these plushies are hard to beat. I think they are some of the most affordable Pokemon that you could really have in your collection. If you find any Sword and Shield of DLC or whatever it might be of the Pokédolls, I think it definitely works out. But yeah, as we get further and further in this collection, guys, it becomes harder and harder to find affordable Pokemon plushies to add to your collection. However, if you go simply to Pokemon Center, put I believe all the plushies in there, and then go lowest price to highest, I'm sure you will find some awesome gems that you might have been looking for, or you didn't know you were looking for, but you think they'd be great ads. But I would love to know, guys, what was your favorite of the 2 DLCs from Sword and Shield? We've had so many DLCs now in the past several years since these games came out, but I would love to know. And with that, me and my whole bunch of Pokédolls are going to head on out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Have a great one, guys. Peace out.